Getting live. Getting live tonight. Getting live. Getting live. Getting live tonight. Getting live. Getting live. Getting live.
You're late. Ow. The fuck?
Ring, 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 herald
Silent
seems...
bell.
And virgins.
Respectfulness is what we're about here. Do not laugh. Show them respect. Show them respect.
And welcome back to Krown's Magical.
Land it.
Dancing King.
God damn it. It's not what we talked about today, but welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. No! Oh my god, I forgot to adjust the camera. One uno momento right here. Sorry about that. Oopsies. You're sprayed in the shot right now, just so you know. What? Well, I'm adjusting it. Alright, it's all good now. Whoops! We had a little bit of a technical difficulty right there as I'm a little bit late to my own station today. Drinking some coffee, taking my own dumps, and now Bitcoin playing on the lows yet again. But there is plenty to be speaking about here, following up from yesterday's long-term analysis, of which we're not going to be going over super long-term analysis, obviously, in this video. So with that, it's, you know, beside the context of it, obviously. But if you are interested in much more long-term macro analysis on Bitcoin, I put up a 35-minute long video yesterday. And funnily enough, even whilst that video is a little bit too long itself, I actually had to cut it down because it was, well, it was going to be about an hour long if I didn't. So I'll upload the other half of it maybe today or tomorrow, something like that. But I also got another interview coming out tonight, of which I am very excited about, with my man, Mr. Chris Laurie, a phenomenal price action trader and someone who I respect very highly. So that'll be coming out probably later today. And with that in mind, I would like to wish you a happy, healthy start to this nice little Monday morning over here. A new week, baby. A new week of new opportunities. And we got some green dildos. We got some red dildos. We got all sorts of Christmas colored dildos with just 2 weeks left to go until the actual Christmas time. I think it is at least 2 weeks. No, actually, holy shit. It's less than 2 weeks now. What the fuck? It's, oh my god, it's like in 10 days. It's like in 11 days. That is ridiculous, man. Time is going onwards and forwards. What's up, Mr. Randy Fox? I see you over there. Haplon, good morning to you. Floyd Chief, what's up, man? Moi moi. Indeed. Jack Asselman, good morning to you as well. Who else do we have? The Saturn Epoch, Ramon Orencio, Philosophian, a very beautiful name to be saying. Alex Switch, our other lovely moderator, is here in the house. Kobus is here as well. Who else do we have? Holy shit, man. Willis, good morning to you. I haven't seen you here before, so good to meet you. Crypto Yellow Vest, there he is, mon ami. Lucas Renz, who else do we have, man? Oh my god, I see a lot of faces in here today. Dan Alderland, good morning to you as well. And I see Chi-Town City. Actually, I used to live there, man. I'm a lost boy. I'm not a lost boy. I'm an island boy, sir. I'm an island boy indeed. I can't forget how it goes, by the way, though. Anyways, I do have a sombering detail that we probably have to talk about on this stream early. And Rocky G, there he is. What's up, fam? Good morning to you, fam. And Frog Nation, good morning to you. the feels good frog and Tony Bread, good morning to you as well. God damn, man, it's a busy day. We already got 334 likes in this video. We're trending to the upside, baby. Up and to the right, and almost 1,000 people watching way too early in the morning. God damn it, go back to bed. You need 8 hours of sleep. Believe me, you can feel so good if you just get that. Yes, so fuck it. We'll get to that a little bit later. We're already running behind schedule over here. We're running 1 minute behind schedule. Anyways, let's get another Krown trading application, which of course can be found at app.krowntrade.net, and it is for the price of free. It is also found in the link description below. We see that the Fear Ingredient Index actually popped up about 11 points from yesterday to today, as Bitcoin did trade back above about 50,000 bucks. Of course, it was just another lower high on the short-term time frames, but the short and medium-term time frame picture are starting to really show some signals now. So whilst we did have a big focus on the long-term time frames, realistically over this past week or so, just because there wasn't anything super obvious in the short-term time frames, now there is starting to be. So I want to focus on that today, and let's go into the market data tab over here, and let's see what we got going on as we see the global funding rates continuing to trend down. It's been trending down significantly ever since the highs in basically October, actually, and we did even hit some pretty nasty negative levels, or not nasty if you are, I guess, long-term bullish, but we did hit some pretty negative levels actually on the last dump from last week on December 4th, of course. And now pretty much for all intents and purposes basically at 0%. So if you are thinking in terms of average of all the exchanges, some exchanges you're probably paying a very, very small rate to be holding long positions, and on most exchanges you're probably getting paid to hold long positions, a very small rate as well. But it does add up, especially when when you are within the context of a weekly macro uptrend. So as long as that condition is met, I do look at that as a rather interesting underlying market dynamic that would be a little more on the bullish side. Of course, if it was like significantly negative, below negative 0.02%, within this current context, well, that would be rather that'd be a lot more obvious, which is what we did see on last December 4th, which was a nice major low, of which we still have that right now. Now, of course, I do want to put some eyes on this as well. The global open interest over here is starting to pop up. We do see it coming all the way down to about 10 billion after hitting 16.5 billion, the highest level it's ever been ever. Ever, not since we've started recording this data, but literally ever. And so that was more than a third of the open interest being washed out of this market. So that is essentially a reset as far as I'm concerned. And whilst I don't necessarily think that you can draw trend lines on this, you could imagine that there is a bit of a trend line going in from our summer lows to our September lows to our more recent December lows right here. I'm curious to see if that'll actually work out over time. I would not put too much faith in that, but just as a as a thought experiment. Anyways, we see another exchange's net flow taking some Bitcoin off exchange, taking Bitcoin off exchanges again, 5,500 Bitcoin, but that is not a humongous number. However, if you take the average of the last week or so, even with this massive inflow that we saw, I think it was Friday, there was still actually a negative outflow for the week, which is rather interesting and in a significant amount. So Bitcoins continue to come off exchanges, and into the third data tab we go over here, and looking at the fear and greed index once again, you can see that we've been basing within this very, very fearful zone for a long time now. So this does start to offer up the probabilities that Bitcoin very likely does put in a rally somewhere around this mid $40,000 region-ish first before anything else. And of course, if you are bullish, you're looking at that as your next major low. And if you are bearish, well, you're looking to very likely short somewhere around about 54 to 55,000 bucks, I do expect. Anyways, with that in mind, let's go back on over here and let's go into the price action charts right now. Oh shit, I should also mention so Instagram, yes, there's a bunch of impersonators impersonating me. I don't know why the fuck you'd want to be me, but more importantly, I've actually been getting some messages from people who are telling me that, they apparently, I guess they just don't know. They just don't know. Okay. So they, for whatever reason, think that this imposter is legitimate and he's asking to trade their accounts. Look, I have no interest in trading anyone else's account other than my own. I have my hands completely full with that. So please understand that that is not me. It's very likely a scammer, and they're probably not going to do whatever that they're offering you to begin with. And if you are looking for my real Instagram account, there it is actually linked in the description below as well. So I probably still won't DM you anyways, just because, man, the days are fucking busy, baby. The days are fucking busy. But every once in a while, I will go through the messages. But it's probably best to contact me on Discord. For anyone wondering, email is not great. Discord is probably best, and TradingView is the worst. It's the worst way to contact me. In fact, I almost get mad whenever someone contacts me on TradingView. But that's my own problem. All right. Anyways, let's get into it right now. Let's start off with, of course, lower term timeframes over here. I think actually spot price action is a little bit more obvious as far as short-term timeframe structure. And what do we have? We basically have the same ranges as before. However, with yesterday's rejection on a lower high, we do have a bit of a descending triangle going on right here, which is a bearish redistribution pattern, of course, which does mean that it has a higher probability to break out to the downside than the upside. But of course, where do you judge an actual breakdown in this case? Need to see a closure below the bottom end of that 46,500-ish region. Same shit as before. If you want to use 47,000 bucks, probably fine as well. CME is a lot more obvious at 47,000 bucks. And what do we see right here? We see some hidden bearish divergence on that last 4-hour high. I think that's also almost there on CME. Yeah, it's not confirmed just yet on CME because we do not have a local high confirmed here just yet. But I suspect that is a bit of a formality here, because ultimately we are making higher highs on RSI, and that does look like a bit of a short-term rejection, certainly on an hourly. Then again, you've already kind of come back and filled the gap. Perhaps I don't really have a major call on this one, because realistically on the shorter term timeframes like the 4-hour right here, CME is actually showing a few good things. And when we go over to the medium and higher term timeframes, we're really going to tie this one in, because I think whilst Bitcoin could have a bit of a short term downside move here, the higher term timeframes are really actually speaking volumes right now. Not to use a bad pun right there, but we do see, of course, a drive of phantom divergence coming off the low, and we also do see full hour Joule actually giving a decent signal right there as well. So I do respect that, although that signal technically began around end of Friday. So, we've kind of already played out an easy boost from there, to be fair, about $2,000. So maybe shouldn't get too greedy on that. But if we do go back onto spot price action over here, technically speaking, I should be looking at this one as likely to come back down somewhere around about $48,000 low and give another bounce. And if Bitcoin is going to be ending up to be bullish, we'd expect Bitcoin to pop back above the prior high right here at 50,300 on a 4-hour closure, or just a wick higher than what you did see on yesterday's high, 50,800 or so. And so I can move down the short-term resolution point for very likely a move back up towards the $54,000 level if that trigger is met. And the reason why I'm really looking at that as a major possibility here is because, one, this is kind of trappy behavior on the lows, and also we do see on the daily CME chart, as we were looking at over the weekend, that the daily Stokes, the stochastic momentum oscillator over here, is going to actually cross the upside with any sort of a closure today above 48,650. Now, it's a long day to go, obviously, but if that condition is met, then I really do like this signature over here. The reason being is and this is the biggest historical analysis that we'll do for right now, but the biggest reason is that all these vertical bars right here do correlate with the same area, as you can see. And if they are correlated with the same area, we actually see a couple instances in Bitcoin's history where we see something very, very similar to what we got going on right here, where you get a full-on move down to the green bar, the green horizontal bar, which is very, very low. And then that first test does get rejected, comes back down, and then crosses back up. And I want to just pull you back to this iteration. There's two iterations that are similar to this. This one over here was March 2020. You probably know exactly where I'm going with this one. That was your flu dump, if you will. And the second test was the actual major low before, just basically going onwards and upwards. And this was an ascending triangle consolidation afterwards. Now, the time before that, where we saw something very similar as far as that signature goes, was right here, right? Bases once, rejection, bases twice, bases thrice, actually. And what do you know? Bitcoin puts in an ascending triangle over the next, few months and busts its way onwards and upwards. So we got some busting action over there. And what do you know? As far as the higher term timeframes go right here, we have one massive ascending triangle, and we do have a very similar signature. It is not confirmed just yet, but any sort of a closure today above 48,650 would be rather significant, at least in my opinion, for very likely testing at minimum the top side of the short-term time frame range. That would be essentially this 50,800 region right here. And then, of course, if Bitcoin does clear above it, I'd be looking for a quick stop somewhere around that last prior high, about just above 50 or just around $52,000, and then very likely does continue all the way up to $54,000 level, which is the major level for Bitcoin right here. That is the one that matters, at least most in my opinion. The reason being, if we can go onto the proper chart, which do I have the proper chart here? Did I delete my charts? I think God damn it, no, here it is. No, this is not it. God damn it. Oh, well, fair enough. We can do this very, very quickly here. And let's actually do this for the wick highs. Okay, and let's get this one properly right there. Okay, and beautiful. And the reason why that area is very significant is because that's actually our last structural breakdown alongside the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement. But our last structural breakdown coming in from the October and November consolidations in this region right here. So popping back above there would essentially be, well, rather significant for market structure here. So, of course, if you do want to be the most conservative trader of all time, that's completely relevant, of course. However, you'd be waiting for about $59,000 right there. Above there, I don't really see that there's any real reason to be bearish on any time frame, to be fair. But you can see short-term timeframes over here, medium-term timeframes over here, long and macro timeframes right here. Now, I do think that popping back above $54,000 would be extremely significant and would probably be enough to make me bullish regardless, or at least I'd be having that bias. But, of course, at the end of the day, I do want to relate these concepts not in the way that I think about them, but in the way that they should be interpreted, because, some people are going to be more aggressive, some people are going to be more conservative, and, well, fair enough, to each their own, right? And there's all sorts of pros and cons that go alongside that. Anyways, as far as daily goes right here, do we have anything new going on? Actually, in fact, we do. So we called out this formation, or actually no, we don't. But we called out this formation coming into the end of last week. I think it was maybe best seen on a 12-hour. Yeah, it was best seen on a 12-hour. And yeah, we actually do have some new going on right here. This one is actually breaking the falling pizza right here, or falling wedge. Now, I typically hate wedges, especially on price action. Although Bitcoin has had a few good ones play out recently. The one coming in from the $40,000 low over here, and of course the $30,000 low over the summer as well, were actually legitimate examples of them. But in this case right here, I typically don't care too much about it unless if it's on the RSI oscillator, which we do see on the 12-hour actually, and it would have technically broken above. Now you will see that there is hidden bearish evidence populating right there, so that is not the best sign. I'm curious if we do have the same thing on CME, and we do not, so that is significant. Now the problem is on CME, we also don't have a break on it either, at least I don't think we do. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna have a chance to break it today, and we can actually forecast the price action needed in order to break it officially, but you actually do have technically the same formation going on right there, so fair enough. let's see. I am going to adjust the edge of the bearish control zone to the resolution point, which is going to be about 41. I'm going to be very, forgiving on this one, or sorry, very conservative on this one is what I mean to say. So I'm going to put it right there. We're just going to look at the control bear zone level, of which that is basically $50,000. So Bitcoin does close above $50,000 on CME. On the next 12-hour closure was coming in 4 hours, 45 minutes, and 36 seconds, or the next daily closure, of course, as well, that follows that, then I would be looking at that as resolved. And in an early indication, an early warning signal that Bitcoin's going to, at least bust on through back up to $52,000. That good old bust in action, baby. That good old fucking bust in action. Anyway, short-term time frame momentum oscillators over here. Again, I only trust CME, especially on Monday and Tuesday. And we do see that 4 hour is actually erect as long as above $48,000. So that is good for the short term. 2 hours also erect above 48,350. And hourly is flippy floppy right here about $49,000, which Bitcoin is currently above. So that will actually flip back to the north side again after filling the gap right there. So, I do think that this is probably a bit of a trappy move in the short-term timeframes. But again, my opinion is irrelevant to this. My opinion is absolutely fucking irrelevant to this. At the end of the day, does Bitcoin break below 47 or not? If it does, I'm looking towards at minimum 45 and probably more like 43 to 44, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have any specific major targets on that one because you just don't know where these nasty wicks are going to land, especially in a highly leveraged market like this. That's where liquidity is a problem to begin with, which is fucking crazy. But hey, that's what I'm looking at right there. And then, of course, back above about 50,300 on spot price action, or CME, which would be actually a little bit lower than that, funnily enough, 50,300. Well, let's just say 50,300 there as well. And I would be looking at minimum for a move to $52,000. And then we get to play the game of, okay, is Bitcoin going to take out this level or not? If it does, then, well, 54 to 55 is where I'm looking towards. And you know the relevancy of that region already. So I think I've spoken my head off already about this. We are 29 minutes into this bitch. I do want, oh, there he is. What's up, African Crypto Warlord? My fucking man. And Nikki Page, there she is. Good morning to you. And Frig Diggler, nice name, by the way. Very nice name. Very clever, sir. And yeah, I do need to make one little quick announcement, though, just because the super chat's coming in, and we've decided that it's probably going to be best to handle it in a different way because, people are donating different amounts of super chats, and it doesn't really seem fair if we have a limited amount of time, which I want to be about 2 hours, and just the chats keep on coming, which is amazing. I'm very grateful for that. No doubt about that. It's incredible that people even happen to give a fuck. 1,700 people watching right now with 620 likes is insane. I don't really know what to make of that. But here's the thing. In order to, I think, make it more efficient, we're probably going to have to order them in the amount that's actually donated. So the people who do more, they get read first, and then we'll just have to kind of titrate it down from there. We won't do that today, but I think we're going to start that tomorrow if Elsa can handle that, which might be. All right, you're gonna have to calculate all of them out, so fair enough. Good luck with that. But that's why we pay her the big bucks, baby. That's why we pay her the big bucks. And Filtered, good morning to you, man. Holy shit, another OG of the cave. My fucking man, good to see you, brother. Good to fucking see you. All right, cool. Oh shit, we got a flying dog alert. Flying dog alert. He's flying on in. That is Lucky the Pomeranian dog, and he could use a haircut and also a bath. He's actually well endowed, and I actually the reason why can you stop using my shoulder like Winnie the Pooh, your little fuck doll? That would be great. Anyways, all right, let's see what we got going on over here. I'm going to start off with the first one. So again, we won't do that today, but probably tomorrow we're going to employ that. I think it's just unfortunately it's the way that we have to go. Or I mean, yeah, thinking about it logically, that's probably the way that it's going to have to go. Thomas Than, welcome to the cave. I want to also remind you that when you do join the cave, as you just did, you get access to a very basic but a hopefully thankful TA 101 playlist that's there for you in the member section on YouTube, not on Discord, not on the Krown Chain application, but on YouTube specifically. That is what it's there for. It's very, very basic, but just want to make sure that those people actually, if they're contributing a little bit extra to me, then obviously I want to give some a little bit back to you. All right. Oh, really says Luna to the Moona in all capitals. Maybe, but I don't know. Let's go check out the chart first and see what this old Luna tuna is doing over here. That would not look like to the Moona to me, man. That looks like to the Flora actually, or at least back down to like 50. Somewhere around about $55 or so. You kind of already do have a base around that region. Let's see what the 5-day looks like, as we did get a 5-day and a weekly closure. Not really getting too much from that, nor am I getting much from the weekly. Long term still bullish, but can this one pull back first to the mid 50s? Yes, absolutely. You didn't give me really a time frame to that, so I don't really know where to go with this one, but Here's what I'd say. I'd say Muna action, if that's precisely what you're asking for. Muna action comes back above about 71.82 in this region. Until then, short term, can we grind out the lows yet again, especially if Bitcoin pulls back to like 48 or 47,000? Yeah, absolutely. Anywhere down around here is fair game. Just around 54,000, or sorry, not 54,000, but 54. That's what I'm trying to say. Sloppy words today. Apologies on that, but actually still do look at this one as long-term quite good. Probably one of the better long-term ones, just short-term, a bit of sideways right here. Not really anything too exciting as long as you're below about 71.80. So I think that's probably what you're asking anyways. So hopefully that was in some way helpful. And there you go for Luna. Maybe we'll nail that one down a little bit later if someone like asked for a specific time frame. Cody Danielson, hey, thank you, man. Really appreciate that, man. Really, really appreciate those sentiments. You're looking for mover. Okay, long-term, weekly, monthly. I don't know if there's a weekly or monthly on new chart like this, or at least I'm assuming it's a new chart, but let's just go see. Looks awful, man. Yeah, very new chart. Pretty, I don't think okay, maybe we just have to, okay, Kraken has a bit more history, but still just a few months, man. I don't know about this. Kacoin, same thing. I'm going to guess that this is all the history that you got. The hopium is that you're putting in a major base right here. The doomium is that you're going to do more of what you've always done, which is go to the downside, which is go to the fucking downside. Looks pretty unimpressive, in my opinion, to be honest with you. But would I be calling a major, massive move to the downside just yet? No. While I do think that you're getting ready to very likely test around your current lows, maybe that's like 180, maybe as low as 170. I probably wouldn't call a breakdown just yet. I wouldn't get super bearish on this one until you actually close a daily dildo below about 170. At that point, yeah, I'm looking towards 130 to 120. It's probably going to imply that Bitcoin would break down below about 47,000 bucks to be fair, but personally speaking, I think Bitcoin probably tests around the low side of the range and then gives a little bit of a trappy trap, but that's my personal opinion. In this case, if I'm just looking at Moon River, you got another drive of hidden bearish divergence right there. Nothing bullish about this thing at all whatsoever, even on a low-term time frame, as long as you're below about 225, which I understand that you're asking about long-term, weekly, monthly, but look, man, there ain't no weekly or monthly on something that's been around for a few months. This chart is unhelpful, and you wouldn't want me to analyze it to begin with because it doesn't look good. Monthly, same thing. You got a monthly top right there. So I'm a lot more inclined to say that this one grinds out the lows and tries for an anemic bounce, and then if you fail that region, well, it's down, down, down we go. Where we stop, only Bear Jesus knows on that one. King Cosmic, good morning to you, man. I hope today brings you peace as well. And yeah, I completely whiffed on this one. And this, oh my God, this one should have been included, of course, in yesterday's analysis. And what do you know? SPY over here. So SPY closed Friday as a bullish engulfing dildo. We got the pullback that we were looking for to 45.20-ish region. That's fine. And now this one, are we ready for new highs this week? Maybe yes. Let's go down to a lower term time frame. Yeah, 4 hours trending right now. We got our higher lows right here. I'm bullish on this thing as long as you're above 46.65 essentially. And short term, you are in trending motion. Or sorry, if you're on an hourly, could pull back to about 47.05. That's no problem. I don't have any issues with that. In fact, it probably does. But ultimately, this is still bullish to me, man. I think we actually might see a Santa rally end of year here. In fact, the 5 days looking for new highs probably within the next 5 to 10 days. Weekly, same thing. My only question on this one is, do we pull back down to 47 to 47.05 first? I don't have a strong opinion on that. Overall, pretty damn good, pretty damn powerful, and that does bode well for Bitcoin long term. Obviously, as long as traditional markets stay strong, Bitcoin I think has a chance to do the unthinkable, to put in the major trap. And what do you know? We do have another drive of hidden bullish evidence right here. So I guess we could come up with a few areas of interest. Now this chart just looks insane. This chart looks insane. Do I even have anything anymore? Yeah, I do, I guess. This is starting to get way, I mean, this just looks fucking ridiculous, but maybe over the next month or so, assuming that you do get the next break, I guess next areas of interest are like 48.10 to 48.50, which since I don't feel comfortable calling that. Look, I'm just looking for some sideways and up. This is a really exaggerated market, but hey, can always get more exaggerated, I guess. So higher term time frame still remaining bullish, and fair enough. Maybe we just quickly check out the monthly. Oh my Lord. This thing's gonna make new all-time highs this month. That's insane. That's fucking insane. Maybe it does go for 4,800. That is insane. Kobus wants to look at BAT 4 hour. Okay, all right. And smash the likes. I appreciate that, man. You don't need to smash them, though. Just make them black and blue. I saw someone say that they're abusing the likes earlier. Fair enough, man. I appreciate that. I think that we already got 800 on the video already. Insane. Again, what the actual fuck? Anyways, you're looking at a 4 hour, not a daily. So let me just get off this time frame right here. Short term down. Again, similar to Bitcoin, right? I'm sure that you do have some hidden bearish divergence. Indeed, you do. Probably looking at another move somewhere down around about a buck. What is this? About a $1.08.5 to maybe a $1.04 lows. Now, I would express a lot of caution below. I guess actually the same areas before, although I was charting that for a daily. Below $1, you do have some problems there, and I would be looking for a refill of your 4th of December wick. Until then, though, just looking for some short-term downside, and I would say good above 140 on a 4 hour. Until then, short-term sideways and down, and that's pretty much all that I'm looking at right there, sir. The Saturday Epoch says Rose USD 4 hour and daily. Moontime baby. Do you promise? I think we looked at this one last week. I remember it. Hey, pretty damn good. And this is kind of what you're looking for on Bitcoin, or kind of what I'm looking for on Bitcoin here, where you get another test back down to the bottom side of your range and then run it the other way. Bit of a trappy trap right there in a bearish redistribution pattern. I'm just very, I'm very defensive against this right now. Anyways, I think I should record this one because this one's rather interesting. Here we have Rose, or symbol Rose, ROSE. I think it's Oasis Network is the name. Anyways, you should probably know that. I've charted this one a million times now, but short-term 4 hour looking good. We did get a bit of a bear trap back above about 2860, of which we did call it last week as the big area to be aware of for the short term, and very likely propelling a test back up to the top side of your daily range, which would be about 36.40 or so. 36 cents, spot 40 in this case. Daily does actually look quite good, as we do have another higher low right here. I imagine that we also have hidden bullish divergence. We do. Volatility is starting to take up yet again, so this one is a trend in motion as far as I'm concerned, and I look at this as quite good. Now, I still want to see it actually clear and close above that 36.40 region before I get super excited about it, but this is quite good. And this is, from a long-term perspective, one of the better charts that we've seen, not just today, but in this market in general over the last month or so. Weekly, quite good as well. I imagine maybe some, you should actually have some hidden bullish divergence there. It's not going to be there just yet, just because well, needs to close. Basically needs to close above that region, but that'll look pretty damn good, especially with weekly vol starting to turn up here as well, and weekly RSI getting back into the bullish control zone. So I do quite like this. If you can clear above that 36.40-ish region, I'd look for a retest around your prior highs, that being about 43 cents or so, very likely a short-term pullback there. And then perhaps long-term, let's see what the areas of interest would be if you can clear above that region, and that would be somewhere around the 52 to 54 cent region. That would be obviously long-term, so not really relevant for your 4 hour or even a daily, but you can kind of see the order of operations right there. Now, I should offer up an invalidation as well. Where do I look at this as a failed move or a failed attempt? Back below about 28.5 cent. That is problem city, and very likely retest lows after that. But for right now, quite good, and one of the more interesting charts, especially in the short term. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Rose, sir. Kobus says Bitcoin on the yearly. We can look at Bitcoin on a yearly, man, but again, on an asset that's only been around for 11 years, it's not going to be a helpful chart. It's good. I mean, it generally goes up and to the right, but I don't know what you're trying to look at right here. I mean, shit, even the 6 month is not good enough. Please understand that when you're asking for a ticker and you're asking for very high term timeframes, there needs to actually be history for that. Sorry, man, I can't help myself, but the 6 month doesn't even have enough history. The quarterly barely has enough history. This would be the highest time frame that I'd be comfortable even looking at Bitcoin on, and that's I mean, I don't even have an analysis to give you on this to begin with. So yeah, I look, someone might have a great analysis on a yearly. I do not have it. I can tell you what you already know. It's an uptrend. So great. But we haven't really got like a full on, well, I guess we have gotten higher lows on the yearly. Actually, let's just go back to it really quickly here. Have we just yet? Yeah, kind of. I mean, kind of. You haven't really had like a prolonged pullback, to be fair. I mean, these do represent 1 year each, but again, just kind of get rid of the time frame and just look at this. If it was in 1 minute, you wouldn't make much of this either. Oh, there we go. Jack Jansen, good morning to you, man. Daily, weekly on dusk. Okay. All right. I'm hoping there's a lot of history here, man. I'm hoping there's a lot of God damn it! There's actually 3 years of history. That's pretty good. I was on a yearly. Apologies. Pretty good here, actually. Pretty damn good. Okay. All right. Let me actually just write some of these down. This one actually might be trending right. Yeah, this one is trending right now. This one's actually just basically broken out as of yesterday. Quite good. Quite good right there, man. I'm looking for this one to trade up into the right towards probably 60 to 70 cents over the next few weeks here. 4 hour is just trend in motion right now, so that means an invalidation around about 36.5 cent. This is actually quite good. This is actually quite good, man. Daily and weekly, though. Yeah, daily and weekly are both breakouts right here. Again, be aware of where the invalidation is, but doesn't need to be any more complicated than this. Quite good. You know, just higher highs and higher lows along the way. Beautiful. Absolutely fucking beautiful. Volatility expanding alongside trend continuation. Weekly RSI back in the bullish control zone. Good. I like it. Hey guys, I'm on the toilet, says Logan. Nice. I hope you do a good job, sir. Kobe says, nice bunny chair. It is a nice bunny chair, actually. I built that one for her. Reshop says, greeting from rainy Vancouver. Man, I can relate to that. Although it's not rainy here, it's snowy, and it's so fucking slippery outside. Dude, like, I was actually, like, skiing this morning, but without skis. Could you see Cadena USD on the daily and 4 hour? Okay, Cadena USD. Okay. On Trex, not great. Let's go over to a daily over here. Again, it did hit our measure move over there. Beautiful. Do we want to record a video on this one? Probably not. Anyways, you're looking at a daily and 4 hour. Do you see this range as accumulation or just waiting for Bitcoin to make a move? Look, something like Cadena is not going to move on its own. It's not like a strong coin. It's not, I wouldn't say it's weak as well. I mean, this went on a pretty nice run over here, but, it's going to do whatever Bitcoin does, right? So in your words, yeah, it's waiting for Bitcoin to make a move here. I would say that this one's going to be good back above about, if you're on a daily, back above about $16. That's where things start to change around long term. Short term, you know, if Bitcoin bounces here, I'm probably looking at the same thing. However, what do you have? You got hidden bearish evidence, multiple drives, probably gives one more run towards your lows, and then the hoping is that you put another local low there and put in a bit of a trap. And if that's going to happen, you're going to see Bitcoin do the same thing. So as always, it's easier to just watch Bitcoin short term timeframes turn around and would initiate a trap more immediately with any sort of a closure back above your last 4 hour high, just over $11. So that's kind of what I'd be aware of right here. But until then, you know, technically speaking, more downside signals than not. I'm just kind of primed for Bitcoin to do something that I think we saw Rose do earlier, I think it was, which, you know, does that come first with another test of our downside? Technically speaking, a little more likely, yes, just because, you know, we do have momentum also suggesting one more move to the downside, but perhaps I hold off on saying anything more than that. And it's just easier to go off of ranges in this case and use that last lower high as a reversal point. Anyway, Strange says, keep it strange, brother. Nice. Strong post to content name ratio, bro. I think I messed that one up, but you know what? All good. Anyways, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. What? Why did you post no limits Cushmaster message? Is there a reason for that, or I don't know? Oh, okay. I see. All right. Paul, gotcha. Okay. I understand. Paul Garrett says, good morning, Matic on the daily and weekly. Sure, man. I'm actually curious to see where this one's at. You know, I really only look at shitcoins, altcoins, during these streams here with you guys. So, down, man. This one's kind of losing its luster here on the short-term time frame. It's 4 hour breaking down. We do see another drive of hidden bearish divergence on the last high right there. I do think that this one is a little more primed to test somewhere down at around your 185 lows. Now, I still would not get bearish on this one long-term. This one's actually still good long-term in my opinion, but I do think that you play at a short-term downside move first to about 180 to 185. I would invalidate long-term bullishness and actually switch on to this one as a failure with any sort of a closure below about 180 on a daily. Until then, short-term down, yes, that's okay. And remember, this one was was event driven last week. So, you know, it'd be if this one does bounce off of like 180 to 185, that's going to look pretty damn good for the long term. But for right now, short term is downside. I'd only get full on bearish on this one though, below about 180 on a daily. Until then, I think this one's still probably long term good. I'm curious what the monthly looks like as well. Not really giving me too much, but it's more good than bad, I'd say. Bi-weekly, same thing, more good than bad. I mean, this one still is probably bullish long term, to be fair. Especially if Bitcoin gets that nice little trappy behavior that we're kind of looking for. That would be a damn good indication for Matic, of course. Adil says Coinbase stock coin. Yeah, we should definitely be looking at this one. I always kind of sidestep it, but I guess we got BitO now, but they just don't have much history. That's a problem with them. Yeah, here's a problem with a weekly, right? You don't really have much history on this. So if I'm looking at a weekly, I'm not really getting too much from that. You know, does this put in a higher low right here off of this long-legged Joji dildo or dragonfly dildo, whatever the fuck you want to call it, doesn't matter. Signal of indecision, perhaps reversal. It's possible, yes, but what would you need to confirm that? You just need to trade back above last week's high in this case. And this is a weekly, so it probably would work at about 289, just any sort of a tick above there. And I'm looking for this one to confirm this is a higher low. This would be a reversal. You already got your higher high, and this one very likely works its way back up towards 335 plus. That looked pretty damn good. Looking at a daily over here, does not fucking look like that. It doesn't look good right here, to be fair, but I'd still give it a chance, to be fair. You know, it's a very new chart, so I don't really put too much weight on it still. Even less on BitO just yet, but over over the next few years, these charts can become incredibly impressive. But basically above 289, really good. I would confirm this as a higher, and I'd confirm this as a local low and a higher low, and this would look really good for a reversal. Probably back on to prior highs and probably beyond there. Below 245.75, very fucking bad. We're probably going to get the rug pulled under us from this market, and I'd be looking at retests of 225 to 227-ish region. So it's high stakes right here, and this is probably going to be resolved, or I wouldn't say that it's going to be resolved today, but very likely this week, extremely likely this week. So I just have alerts on both these sides right here, because those are going to be the easy trades, and I don't see any reason why it needs to not be an easy trade in this case. Hey, what's up, Bamsterdam? Good morning to you, man. Finally awake early enough to catch you. My fucking man. Love it. Would you mind taking a look at Matic Ethereum on the daily? Yeah. Where's Jack? I'm surprised Jack hasn't asked about this one just yet. Matic versus Ethereum over here. I guess we go to Huobi for this one. And am I still bullish on this one long term? Yeah, weekly. It's similar to Matic versus the dollar chart. I'd still be long term bullish on this one, but short term, I do look for this one to pull back at minimum to about 47,600. And I would actually not call this one a failure at this level. I'd actually call it right here below 44,700. Below there, that's where this one does start to reverse. And you can look at this as a failure, and that probably implies that Matic USD breaks below, what was it, about 180, I think it was. Personally speaking, I just think that you're going to see a short-term pullback right there, and then very likely bounce off, and this is still long-term bullish, actually, but short-term corrective, kind of similar to Bitcoin as well. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful, sir. What's up, Rolando? All good, man. ENS 4-hour and 12-hour. Okay. This one, I believe, is another very new one. So let's see if we have a 12-hour on this one. Yeah, very new here. Not much of a 12-hour. Anyways, you do have a bit of a trading range, and yeah, you should probably look at this area as a base area first and foremost at around 41 in a quarter. But yeah, I do think that you're going to test the bottom side of the range first. It's very similar to a lot of the other names that we looked at today. What do you know? Another drive of hidden bearish evidence right there. You got your lower highs, you got a descending triangle. Technically speaking, these are more likely to break out to the downside, but I'm basically giving you hopium here, saying that Bitcoin perhaps could give us a bit of a bear trap, especially if we pop back above that last lower high from last night at 50,000 and some odd change. So short term, yeah, very likely comes back down and tests around here. If you see a closure below here, big fucking problems, baby. Big fucking problems back down to 38 to 38 and a half. And I don't really have much to make out of it other than this. It's a very new chart still, so not much going there. Jesus Fargus, good morning to you, man. TLM 4-hour daily and weekly. Got it. This is Alien Worlds, I think. Yeah, Alien Worlds. Okay. It's almost like the same chart on this time frame. So if you're looking at a 4-hour, it literally is the same chart. Many drives of hidden bearish evidence right there. Very likely test the low side of the range, that being about 22 cents, maybe even as low as 21.80. In this case, I would call a bear trap reversal back above, not that last lower high right there. It's a little bit too new, but 26.5 cents. I would say that this one reverses short term, and you initiate targets back up towards 31.30. Until then, not great, but it's kind of, again, similar to Bitcoin, very likely to test the low side of this range again. And then the hopium is that you put in a bit of a bear trap, pop back above that last lower high. It's going to be easier to watch on Bitcoin, but short term is down. Yes. Daily looks a lot more like you're probably putting in a major low right here, to be fair. So that is a little more confidence inducing. And weekly, I'm very, I'm a lot more biased towards getting very bearish on this one weekly, but I think it would be unwise for me to say anything about a weekly with this amount of history, especially when most things in this market are showing a different weekly picture. So I think I'll hold off on anything like that, but the 4-hour and daily are showing a little more of a clear picture there. Legio Villa, good morning to you, man. Best of the best to you as well. Algo USD, 6 hour and daily, sure. I'm guessing this one's still in the range. This one's been in a range, for a perpetual range for like a month. Sorry, more like 3 months actually. And no, is it breaking now? I think it is breaking. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, I do actually have this one as, or let's see if I take this on the most conservative. Nah, it's pretty much broken. Looks like it wants to retest around your wick lows. Maybe not exactly your wick lows from last Sunday, that being the 4th of December, but perhaps somewhere around, 140 to 135 region is kind of where I'd be looking towards. Just kind of getting walked down here, very, very weak. So not great. Anyways, you're looking at a 6 hour and a daily. Okay, let's look at a 6 hour as well. 6 hour, do we have hidden bearish evidence? We don't, so that would be, I guess, a little bit better, but I imagine the 4 hour probably does, and it does. So yeah, short term down, very likely coming back down to about 140-ish region. And then again, same sort of hopium there as the other ones, although this one does have a structural break here, and I would be very hesitant about this one long term on a daily, as long as you're below 175. That's kind of the big area right there on a daily closing basis. Lucas says, Krown, language, my dad is next to me. Dad, take off those pants and get ready for the girthy red dildos, baby, because it's coming in dry. Santa Claus decided to drop a bag of red dildos in your face, sir. Sorry, much respect to you, father. Hey, come on. Don't you understand the difference between intent and just simple words? Okay, the intent is not meant to be negative. The intent is not to offend. The intent is just to express myself in a very lazy way while I'm doing these streams for 2 hours, which can be it's a lot more difficult to filter your language throughout those streams. And also, it's not having a negative intent, man. That's all. If I said fuck you, dad, you suck, I hope you die, that's really awful. I think that's really, really awful. And you can say a lot of things with technically not 4-letter words that would just be devastating and just awful to say. And I'm not saying that, man. I don't have that intent. So hopefully we can just agree on that, Mr. Dad, Mr. Renz Senior, and we just move on from there, sir. Ken Noren says, and if not, well, I guess all good as well. Ken Noren says, true on the hourly, daily, and whatever you see fit. All right, I hope that there is a daily on this thing. It's a true fi, huh? There is a daily on this thing. That's not bad, but holy shit, it sucks. Wow, man. Hourly, very likely coming back down to range lows, 28 cents or so. Big problems below 27 cents, but for right now, just short term down. Hopium is that you pop back above basically 32.5 cents, and then you play out a very piss poor, another lower high, perhaps all the way up to 40 cents if that were to happen. But man, definitely one of the weaker charts that we've seen today. If Bitcoin turns around, this is not going to be the one that's going to be like going to the fucking moon, or at least in my opinion, very unlikely to be. Short term down though, and I would call a very short term reversal back above 30 cents. Again, targeting moves back up towards 34.5 cents. Other than that, a very weak chart, but I guess that's what we're looking at right there. Anyway, Strange says, just call me Strange. All right, got it, Strange. Good morning to y'all. I'm American. Chinese characters for the game. I play with a large Chinese player base. Oh, okay, cool. All right, sweet. So that's what game do you play? I like games as well, man. But dude, it's the weirdest thing, man. I have all the free time in the world, but I don't have any free time for games anymore. It's weird. See that we also got 1,000 likes on this video as well. We're only 54 minutes into this one. It's before 1 hour. Insane. Holy moly, man. 1776. It's America's birthday as far as people watching. That's great. G Squared, appreciate that, man. And thank you for that. Elliot Diggs says, good morning, Brock. Good morning to you as well, sir. Wise to not long alts till Bitcoin above 54. Well, it depends. It depends what time frame you're trading, right? So if you're looking at most alts, the strong ones will probably reverse with Bitcoin if Bitcoin does reverse to begin with. So it's, yeah, I wouldn't say that. I think alts in general you really have to bifurcate the whole alt market, maybe not even bifurcate, but like quadrificate in this case, because there are strong alts. We've seen a few of them today. Those ones are already breaking out. So no, I think you play the name that's in front of you. Most alts in general are pretty damn weak in comparison to Bitcoin, but not all of them, as we've seen today. So no, I think you trade the chart that's in front of you. If it shows some strength, it's okay. We saw that with Rose, for example. That was certainly a tradable event, but it also depends on what time frame you're trading. Obviously, if you're on a daily, yeah, you're waiting for 54, or at least I'd be waiting for 54 at minimum. If you're on a shorter term time, like a 4 hour, I'm just waiting for 50,000 and some odd change right there. On a closing basis, of course. Anyways, RJC says, US CPI data, a big catalyst for Bitcoin price on Wednesday. Inflation hedge, love your work. Thanks, man. So basically, you're talking about I think it's the FOMC meeting this Wednesday. It's always a catalyst. Is basically, if your question is just, is it going to be a catalyst? Yeah, of course it's going to be a catalyst, but we don't know what they're going to say. That's the problem. So are they going to be a little more hawkish or dovish? We don't know. Typically speaking, I used to say Jerome Powell has never said anything ever to hurt markets, and he's only ever helped markets with when he gets on, the telephone or the screens and starts talking. That's actually not true anymore. He has had a few statements in the last few weeks here that were more disparaging. So I don't think that it's as much of a given anymore. So is it going to be a catalyst? Fuck yeah, it's going to be a catalyst. Do we know which way it's going to go? Obviously not. But from all of the people that I kind of trust in order to know mostly about these sort of economic events, which while I did graduate with a degree in economics, I do not consider myself an economist, nor do I think that'd be wise to do anyways, just because they're notoriously terrible. But for the people that I do trust, they do say something along the lines of like, we can expect inflation to continue to run hot for a while, even though they are starting to take some measures to pull it back. But the problem is you just don't know what they're actually going to fucking do. But given our current stance, it seems like we're going to be seeing an expedited taper, which means that it's not going to be good for markets, and or very unlikely to be good for markets, and probably going to be a tumultuous time if that pulls through. So again, I'm not the person to ask about that, but if you're just asking if it's going to be a catalyst, fuck yeah, it's going to be a catalyst. I don't know which direction it's going to be. Again, that's way above my head and not something that not something that I'm qualified to speak about. And your next question is B, well, how do you trade it? Well, I just look at the same ranges anyways, but what I do during those days is I actually don't want any open trades going into that event. And I also, and what I want to do is I want to either capture some of the volatility on the easy trades right after the event. As it happens, you typically see some like very, very violent price action. Or I just wait for the dust to settle, and give it like a couple days before doing anything, essentially. So that's all that I do, man. Nothing too spectacular, but it does keep me safe, more importantly. And that's the same thing that I did in traditional markets as well. When I was actually a market maker, authorized trader, I would just pull my quotes during FOMC meetings. I would pull it for like an hour, for like an hour or two. I had no interest in trading that. It's just that you don't need to. Anyways, there he is, Jack. Good morning to you, man. Ethereum, Bitcoin, 4 hour and daily. Yeah, let's see where this one's at right now. Let's pull it up over here. This one's getting its first major pullback after that big bad breakout. So I do want to give this one a little bit of its own. Yeah, I want to give this one its own video right here. So you know what? I'm going to record this. Here we have Ethereum, Bitcoin pair, and we might go a little bit into the US dollar pair as well, just to make this a complete video. But ultimately, most importantly, we got the breakout last week. Yes, last week, and we're getting our first pullback after the breakout. Traditionally speaking, or typically speaking, the first pullback after the breakout is typically a buy. Now, the question is, how far does it pull back? Because I'm not necessarily convinced that the pullback is done just yet. Could easily pull back all the way down to about 7.75 to 7.8 million Satoshis. I don't have a strong or natural proclivity towards that. My strong opinion is on this right here. Any sort of a daily closing lower low than essentially, I guess we could raise this up. It's more or less going to be the same area at about 7.7 million Satoshis, let's say. I would turn bearish on this one, looking at this as a failed breakout attempt, and this is going to be very, very bad, obviously. Now, on a weekly closing basis, it's still good. I have no problems with this. On a monthly, this is phenomenal. This continuation. Again, this is all good. The question realistically is how far do we pull back here? And if 7.7 million Satoshis does get violated on a daily closure, then yeah, I guess I would turn bearish on this one with minimum moves back down. It's about 7.3 to 7.25 million Satoshis, and then come back to it after that. But until then, I do think that it's wise to be looking for a little bit of short-term downside here. We do see some hidden bearish divergence on the 4 hour, for example, and anywhere just past 8 million Satoshis is completely fine, to be fair. For 4 hour trend. So I'd really be focused on the higher term timeframes here. Now, what I could also say is that I would be essentially more short term bullish, looking for a retest of your highs on this rally at 8.8 million Satoshis, with any sort of a 4 hour closure above your range highs at 836 right there. I imagine if we go over here, we might see something of interest. Let's just, oh my God, I've been doing too many US dollar pairings. My apologies. Let's go to Bitstamp on this one. And let's see what the higher term time frames are looking like. Daily is actually going to flip back up above basically 8.8 million satoshis. So it is corrective. It is corrective short term. So it does make sense. 5-day 807. Weekly is up as long as above 7.67. So I do like the 7.7 region for a bit of a reversal right there. If that were to be violated on daily closure, until then, just short term corrective and long term still good. 4 hours going to turn back down below 813 to be fair. Anyways, what I want to do now is I want to go match this up, marry this up with Ethereum at US dollar valuation, and let's see what we got going on right here. So I'm going to throw on my drawing tools. I don't think that this one needs to be anything too crazy to be fair. Hey, stop that. There we go. And where did my chart go? Where did my motherfucker? Oh, those bastards, man. Those damn bastards. Those damn TradingView bastards. Oh, there it is. Hold on. I apologize. It's right here. Okay, so we did get a test to the bottom side of our blue box territory. I think this was over the weekend, it looks like. Now dipping into it yet again. I suspect that the 4-hour time frame, like Bitcoin, is also showing some downside. Indeed, it is. Another lower high right there. We do have, or do we not have? No, we do not have hidden bearish divergence, to be fair, but very likely to test the bottom side of the range yet again, somewhere around about 3,900 or so. If we're using a 4-hour to judge this one, I would say I would not call this one broken or resolve to the downside as long as you're closing above 3850 or so on a 4-hour. If you're using a daily, it's more like 3900. Yeah, about 3900 in this case. Below there, big problems, and probably looking at a move towards 3650. Maybe even a little bit lower than that. Now, of course, whatever Bitcoin does, Ethereum's very likely to follow. So short term, is more downside middle here, no doubt about that. But higher term timeframes, I'm still very hesitant to get like full on bearish on this thing, man. 5-day, weekly, monthly, just looks like a major consolidation at at a very high level. I'm sure people are calling this bearish divergence over here. Look, if you're looking for the easy bearish divergence play, it already played out, and these ones, in my opinion, aren't even playable to begin with. This is not like a full on obvious high right here. I mean, you don't really have like you need to see like a stop and reverse point. So it's a very shallow drive. Same thing on this one over here, and you already got your move down to the 9. So it's like, what, are you going to target the 21 after that down to 2400? Probably not. At least that probably unwise, to be fair. So could I get extremely bearish on this one? Yeah, absolutely. But that doesn't really come into the into my basically, I don't even consider that, as long as you're closing dailies above the range lows in this case. If you do start to break that, then I do look for moves down to the mid 3s and below basically last Sunday. Yeah, was it last Sunday? No, last Saturday, the 4th of December lows. At that point, I could be looking for big moves to the downside if that were to be violated, but we're just not there just yet. And of course, if we go over here to our trending charts and we put on our Bollinger Bands over here and we put it on Ethereum, and we put it on a time frame that actually matters for a trend, we can go over here to a weekly. I mean, it's still okay right here. It's starting to look a little bit more ugly on this one, to be fair. Maybe a monthly. Yeah, monthly, I'm still a lot more inclined to give it the benefit of the doubt. The reason being, your other higher term timeframes like the bi-monthly and of course the quarterly, I think it'd be very difficult to get this one like very far down this month if it's going to happen. Quarterly still trending. Bi-monthly is still, for all intents and purposes, bullish right here. Just getting your first pullback after trending above the top side Bollinger Band. So long term, I'd still like it. Short term, just corrective here, and understand where all of the orders, all of the orders of operations kind of fall in there. A little bit of a convoluted chart, but hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Ethereum versus the dollar. Sir, cool. Jack Jansen says near USD, 4-hour and daily. Okay, this near protocol. All right, near dollar. Pretty good. Hey, another altcoin that's actually looking pretty damn good here. This is quite a surprise, so I'll just mark this one off. And I mean, what time frames are you looking at? 4-hour and daily. Weekly is looking good, man. Daily, a little bit of a local high, so probably does come back down around your range lows. So in this case, that's perhaps somewhere down around about $8.50. 4-hour, short term down. Short term, very likely looking at about 940 to 945 and very likely a bounce there. Daily does say that we can come down a little bit more, especially if this confirms as a local high, because we would have hidden bearish divergence. So if that does confirm today with any sort of a closure here or lower, essentially, I'd be looking for a pullback first, probably somewhere around your weekly levels, which is going to be like low $9. If things really get crazy, I guess, well, below $9, this one actually turns out to be bearish. But for right now, man, I give this one the benefit of the doubt. This is probably okay. At least it's showing strength, so it'd be kind of on the same side of the equation as some of the other strong ones that we've seen today. But short term, yeah, looking for a little bit of downside. Just don't want to see it really crack below about $9. That's where things do start to kind of change around, and where I'd no longer be bullish on it. Just short term corrective, however. Yeah, and long term, or I guess long term within the context of this one's history, can't really get too excited about this one as long as it's below about 1235. by the same token, probably wouldn't get too bearish, especially as long as you're above about a $9 in this case. So hopefully that's helpful there. Gabor GMRT says, good morning to you as well, man. Loving the hair as usual. Thanks, man. It actually looks somewhat normal today, which is bizarre. Feels weird, man. Could you please look at KCS USD on the 4-hour daily? Sure. All right, KCS. Oh, did your phone think that I'm talking to Siri or something? Hey Siri, suck my dick. 4-hour and daily. Why is that funny? There's nothing funny about that. Would you like to learn about busting action, Siri? Anyways, 4-hour hidden bearish divergence. Again, short-term down. I'm looking for another run towards about 19.5, somewhere around there. 4-hour closure below about $19 is very problematic and very likely does beget continuation towards your 18.25, $18.50 lows. Until then, I mean, not great here. Definitely one of the weaker ones that we've seen for the short term, but long term, actually pretty damn good chart, to be fair. I mean, it is an exchange token now, isn't it? So these things just kind of, yeah, these things are generally good. So I'm probably just looking for a short term pullback and then probably does salvage itself. Similar to Bitcoin here. I just getting that spidey tingle that we probably do see something resembling like, should I do the LARP lines? Oh man, I'm gonna break my own rule. A little bit of LARP line, maybe a higher low right there, and then some like that would be really, really good. Or it might just be, come down there, another anemic bounce. Again, go fuck yourself. Something like that as well. Those kind of the two ways that I see this one resolving, obviously can go up or down, right? But just understand where those triggers are for that. That's the actual value in technical analysis, not to be able to predict exactly what's going to happen. That's silliness. That is ridiculousness. It can't actually be done. But in order to, but to be able to actually kind of create a plan around a thesis, that can be done. Anyways, Ramon Orencio says, hello, sir. Hey, what's up, man? Would you mind checking out Sea War? Okay, Sea War. This is, I think it's like a game or something. We've definitely seen this one before. Cryo War. Interesting here. Definitely is not, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's definitely not playing around with the rest of the market, but it's doing some different, I guess. Very new one here. I'm just trying to get a handle on this one. I do think that you're actually putting in a major. I do think that you're putting an A low right here. I wouldn't say a major low because I don't fucking know on this one. But I do like these spikes of volume right here. I do like the higher low, and I do look at this one as probably reversing as long as above about 136. So that's kind of my condition on that one. Daily is completely unhelpful. No real chart right there in my opinion. 4-hour, same thing. Just want to see this one really close above about 167 on a 4-hour, and then I'd be looking for another corrective move back to 220. Long term, not a big fan of this chart, but there's not really a long term chart on this, so I don't really know which way to go with this one, to be honest with you. And maybe, if I had to call it on the short-term timeframes, I do think that you're having a short-term reversal and probably does pop back up somewhere around like, what was it, $2? Somewhere around like $2 maybe, but still long-term, that's pretty fucking ugly, to be fair. So, or long-term on a 4-hour, which barely has any history. So maybe I don't have any opinion on the long-term in this case. Ryan Glacken says, LSID on the daily, please. Where do you think it puts in a base? Some things don't have bases, sir. So not here. Okay, on the daily, oh, okay. Yeah, I remember this one. I think it'll try for a base relatively soon, somewhere around about 32.5 to $33 or so. If you're getting your first pullback after retesting basically your problem optimized, that is to be expected. That's not super problematic. Just looking for a higher low somewhere around here. That would look really, really good. Below 32.25, very big problems. But until then, I think that you're going to try somewhere around here. Should at minimum get a bounce, but maybe the daily's already trying for a bit of a bounce right there, to be fair. Let's see, what did Momentum also say? Yeah, you will have hidden bullish divergence if you do put in a local low there, but you're not getting it just yet. If you pop back above Friday's high at 39.25, that would do it for me. Whether it puts in one more move to the downside over here, I don't have a strong opinion or not. I'm just looking for, if I am any bullish on this one, which I don't really have a reason not to be, long term, as long as you're above about 32.25, this is kind of where I'm looking for. Okay, Mr. Aurora, good morning to you, man. EGLD on the hourly and 4. Okay, got it. This is Elrond. By the way, man, I've been reading the Fellowship of the Ring. It's fucking phenomenal. It's great. It's amazing. Don't laugh. No, it's amazing. It's honest. It's right here. In fact, I got all 3 books. If you can see them, you can't actually see them, but they're amazing, man. They're fucking amazing. They are better than the movies, but they're different as well. I love the movies, man. They are the best. But anyways, I still want to buy my goddamn Aragorn sword, but it's hard to find, especially with the supply crunch and everything. Anyways, you're looking at an hourly and 4 hour. You don't give a fuck about my Aragorn sword, by the way. Why am I talking about this? Hidden bearish evidence, again, very likely retest around your short-term lows at 247 or so. I'd call this one a failure below there, meaning a 4 hour closure below there. And I'd look for this one to probably retest your December 4th lows or somewhere around there. Probably more like 230 to 240-ish region. I wouldn't get like super bearish on this one. Of course, you do have bear trap situation would be above about $300. It's quite far away, but that's what I'd be looking at right there. I know you didn't ask about a daily, but I do see some signals of a short-term bottom forming on a daily. So that's why I do think that short-term, very, very short-term, very likely another grind out of this downside. But until you actually break it, I probably wouldn't treat it as a trending move just yet. I'd probably be looking for a reversal around there. A lot of volume starting to pour in this one as well. So people are getting interested at these regions, it looks like. Cool. BK says CRV USD. Sure, man. Sure. Okay. And you're looking at a 4 hour daily weekly. Yeah, this one's still basing off on the lows. And I think that's what we were looking at last week. Something like this. I was probably looking at a weekly for this chart. Yeah, this was on a weekly right here. If I was to do this on a daily, it'd be a little bit lower, obviously, because you are still holding on to these lows right here. That being about 333. And I do think that you could probably retest that region again. I'm going to guess on the 4. You probably have some hidden bearish evidence. Indeed, you do. You are making higher highs on RSI, or are you? Hold on. 57.08 versus 57.12. Actually, no, you're not. Interesting. Either which way, if it's to come back down around here, not a problem. The problem is below 330, basically 330 on a 4 hour closure. As long as you're above there, I still look at this one as long-term probably good. Weekly kind of tells me that one, again, as long as you're above the last major breakout region and breakout, I guess just region in this case. What is it? It's basically that 330-ish region. So as long as you're above there, I think that's generally fine for the long term. And I do still think that this one probably does pull through long term. Let's see what the monthly looks like. Not really enough to go off of right there. 5 day. That's okay as well. I mean, it's not super problematic. I think you're just corrective short term. Where would I say that this one does pull through and do a little bit of a bear trap back above your 418 highs right here would look pretty damn good. And you technically do have a higher low right here already. Or no, actually you do not have a higher low. It's just an ever so slightly closing lower low. So again, similar to Bitcoin, short term very likely comes back onto the downside, but I would call a bear trap back above this region right here. Or if you get something like this, where it comes down, tests around the low side, and then pops back above this high, that's where I'd look at this one as a bear trap as well, and very likely to get continuation up to like 4.5 or maybe even $5, and that'd start to make the daily picture look a lot better, which again, I do think that this one will eventually pull through. I can really only get bearish on that one below like 330, man. Hey, Luke Bowden, what's up, man? Yeah, all good, sir. Do you have, or are you planning on doing a PMARP video for the TA program? Probably, honestly, probably not, because it's a really fucking simple indicator. I guess you're not the first person to ask, so maybe I should just do it, but it's going to be like a 5-minute indicator, or sorry, 5-minute video, because it's a very simple indicator, man. But I guess seeing as there's enough interest, perhaps that'll be the next one that I do. Yeah, it'll be really, really short, but the problem with that indicator on its own is that it can't be used on its own. That's the problem with it. You always need to match it up with something else. So that's why I don't really want to include it in like the base program, but maybe I'll put it in like the bonus section or something. And yeah, sure. Why not? It won't take too long. And it's quite simple. I think people are just, presumably just inquisitive about it, which fair enough. I mean, you should be, I guess. So yeah, man, sure. Stephen Dumaine says, could you should us some live for QI crypto for what the fuck? Could you should us some live? I need to show everyone this comment. Could you should us some, I feel like I'm reading an optical illusion or something. Could you should us some live for QI crypto for our, okay, I think I understand at least that part. Have you ever been as far as decided to look, go, do more like, what the fuck? That's like a Joe Biden sentence right there, man. And the kids, they like playing with my wet hairs, and they would run their and their hands would go up and down, and then they'd jump in my lap. And I love kids jumping in my lap. I'll tell you that. It's like, what the fuck? You didn't need to say that, sir. QI USD. Not much of a daily here, let alone a weekly, sir. Don't know what the fuck you're looking at right here. Maybe a 4 hour. Short term down. with a short-term reversal or an invalidation back above 1776 with moves back up very likely towards 20 cents or so. Until then, probably looking at something like this, and I guess hopium is that you put in a higher low and then pop back above. That would be good. Doomium is that you come all the way down to that lower level and close a 4-hour dildo below about 14.5 cents. Below there, I'd be looking for new lows on this one. Personally speaking, I do think that you test around the lows and then probably do a little bit of a short-term reversal, but you know, fair enough. Just be aware of where the invalidations for that are. It's like, and the kids, where was that stupid fucking mess? I need to read this shit. Hold on. It's right here. And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got a lot of hairy legs. That turn, a gum blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight. And then watch the hair curl come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. Fuck. I've learned about kids jumping on my lap. What the fuck as well? And I love kids jumping on my lap. And I tell you what. I'm not a Joe Biden hater nor lover, but what the fuck, man, was that? I fucking hate the argument where someone goes like, oh yeah, well, Trump would have been worse. Like, well, he's not the fucking president, so who cares? Okay.
But we have a prime minister that goes to clubbing.
Yeah. Finland's prime minister goes clubbing until 4 a.m. without a mask. Very, very, very unresponsible. I want to see a porno between Joe Biden and Sana. Anyways, let's see. Okay, where did we leave off right here? Claudia Borquez says, hello, can you please tickle Elsa? Her laugh makes me smile. She absolutely hates being tickled, by the way. Cadena Weekly, we just did that one, so I think we're all good there. Shell Wong Kim, good morning to you, man. Haven't seen you in a couple of days. SRM USD on the 4 hour? Sure. All right, let's go over here. Maybe go up on some charts. Still the fucking weirdest thing. Like, why? You didn't need to, like, the last bit where he says, and I love kids jumping on my laps. Like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, what the fuck did you just say? How did no one just burst out laughing there and be like, the fuck? And the whole scene was weird as hell too. It's like there's a bunch of kids and I think they're all black for some reason, which is great, but I just don't like, obviously there's some sort of message implied there, and then they're like at a pool and none of the kids are paying attention. They're just like talking in the background because they don't give a fuck about what he's saying. It's just the weirdest scene, man. It just seems so doctored, and it's like I don't know man. So fucking strange, man. We live in the best simulation though, I'll tell you that. Daily and 4 hour, not good. But similar to the other ones, you know, very likely to retest short-term lows somewhere around about $3.5. I guess the doomium is that you're going to break these lows below $3.5 on a 4 hour closure and then initiate tests back down towards, I mean, the full retrace, baby, $3 or so. I mean, that would be pretty fucking nasty. Maybe not a full on move down there, but you know, it's kind of like Bitcoin, right? Will you have potential regular bullish evidence if you put in a local low after retesting your current lows? But yes, you will, but can't really get excited about this thing even on a short term as long as you're especially below that last 4 hour rejective lower high, which is 385. Above there, I do look for a retest of your prior range. That's like 4.25 or so. Other than that, not my favorite chart right here. Looks like my LARP lines over here didn't work. How could that be? But yeah, it literally got rejected right at that line. So fair enough. All right. Well, I feel validated then. Anyways, hope this one is bottoming out soon or I'll tell my mama. Well, it might be bottoming out, man, but this is a really fucking weak chart. That's the problem with it. Weekly looks absolutely atrocious. So, I mean, you're probably going to get a pity bounce around this region right here, but that is not the same thing as like a bottom. It's going to depend on whatever Bitcoin does, and Bitcoin's going to need to be very, very strong in order for this thing to put in a major macro low. Just personal opinion. VRA says John Brooks. Did we look at this one or not? I don't think we did. Veracity. Yeah, we didn't look at this one. Daily and weekly. Gotcha. Okay, this one actually has a weekly. Hey, there we go. Let's go to a daily first. Daily. Oh, what do you know? Probably going to retest the lows again, about 3.5 cents or so, but I would not get full on bearish on this one until you actually break below 3.4 cents on a daily, or I'm guessing like a 4-hour, probably below like 3.2 or something like that. Short term, I would call a short term bear trap reversal back above 420, back up to about 480 to 5 cents or so. Above there, things start to turn around for the macro. Until then, short-term corrective at best, with very likely another very short-term downside move implied around your current lows. The hopium is that you bounce off those lows and then pop back above this current lower high. That's kind of what I'd be looking for right there. You know, same setup right here. It's pretty much all cryptos that aren't like strong on their own do have the same sort of setup, it looks like. Cool. All right. Hey, what's up, Alexander McCart? Very clever there. Hope you're having a great day, or a GRT day, a graph day. Well, let's actually look at the chart there. Probably not so good if that's going to be the case. Let's see. Just out of curiosity, you didn't even ask about this one, but yeah. Well, I'm down. Anyways, LRC 4 and daily. Sure. This is loop ring. The loop rings. The loop rings. The loops. My loops. My loops. My loops. Probably going to... This one's actually interesting right here. It's not as weak as a lot of the other things that we've seen today, but yeah, I do think that you have a little bit of short-term downside. Again, if you do close a 4-hour anywhere here or lower, you will confirm hidden bearish divergence and probably at minimum testing back down to about 2.25 or so. If things get a little more nasty, I'd be looking for a full-on move down to your last local lows at about 205 to 210 region, and probably another bounce there. Long term, still kind of the same chart as before, basically. You know, below 307, can't really get excited about it. Above basically $2, can't really get too bearish on it. Now below $2, I do look for this one to refill your December 4th low at 150, which is a rather large move, especially on a $2 number. But you know, until then, just short term, a little bit of downside, it looks like, and give another chance to bounce off there. Maybe the weekly has something to say. Yeah, the weekly is actually still okay, I guess, long term. So I'd probably hold off on. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a breakdown just yet until I actually validate that condition. Aurora Ware says clove, please. Is this a stock? I'm guessing it's stock, but yeah, I'm guessing it's stock. Probably talking about this one right here on NAS. Not good though. Pretty fucking ugly. Probably gonna try for one more bounce at around 420 or so, but man, that is a shitty chart. Wow, only has ever gone down on any time frame that actually matters. So yeah, you're probably getting ready for a bounce soon, and corrected bounces after maybe retesting around your lows can come up all the way to about 5.25 or maybe even 5.5, but long term quite wrecked and really nothing to get excited about as long as you're below like $8.50 in my opinion for like long term on that thing. But I don't know what you are on that thing because no time frame's given. Andrew Palmer says, hey, thanks for the TA. All good, man. All good and sweet. That's really, really awesome, because that's exactly the way that I want this channel to go. It's like, I don't want to be Mr. fucking educator or Mr. Professor. That's not what I am. That's not who I am. I'm just sharing my experience here for better or worse, and then you can take whatever, you know, you like or see or find valuable from that and use it on your own. And that just seems like a lot more relatable in my opinion. PYO, okay, or sorry, PYR. No time frames given, but that's all right. I imagine this one's probably newer, so probably not gonna be too difficult. No, there's definitely a chart that has more history. Yeah, this would be it. Yeah, not great right there. So let's, well, hold on. Maybe I'm judging this one prematurely. Let's go to a 4-hour. You're already kind of retesting your, yeah, this one's highly liquid, man. Yeah, I would not get excited about this thing as long as you blow about 31.10. 31.10 is kind of like that last rejective lower high. You've already played out that hidden bearish divergence, so it also wouldn't be super wise to be getting like super bearish on this thing. I'd only get bearish on this one looking for the next big drive to the downside with targets down to, you know, 18.5 to maybe even 17.5 bucks. If you do close below your last 4-hour wick low, something like that. Until then, probably going to trade a little bit sideways right there. And if you do manage to pop back above that last rejective lower high at 31.10, I would be looking for another return back up towards 38.5 to 40 bucks or so. Until then, I don't really have a major call to be made on this one, nor do I think it's appropriate because you're kind of in a precarious place right here. And the 5-day and weekly aren't giving me any like super obvious signals just yet, so I'm inclined to kind of stay away from that. Yeah, maybe the 2-day. No, I'm still not getting it right here. So. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it right there. The most obvious trade is popping back above 31.10. That's what I feel most comfortable, confident with. Brennan Deputy says, hello Deputy. I sent a blank super chat. All good, man. Please chart STMX USD weekly and daily. All right. Hopefully there is a weekly there. I always get a little bit on edge when someone asks about a higher time frame on an altcoin I don't really know much of, but this one seems to be okay. Yeah, on a weekly, yep, okay. And what do we have here? All right, so the hopium is that you're putting in a higher low right here on the weekly, and you're doing something like this long term, and this would represent the macro. And is that, is that relevant? I guess it's relevant for now. It's a little bit more hopium, to be fair. Short term, do you come back down and retest around your lows at like 2 cents or so, or low 2 cents? Maybe yes. I don't have a strong opinion on that. Or I guess if Bitcoin's going to test around at 48 or 47, it's probably going to do the same thing as well. But I'd refrain from getting like super bearish on this thing as long as you're closing above 2 cents. Below 2 cents, this whole hopium scenario falls apart, and you're probably looking at moves back down towards 1.75, maybe even lower than that, towards 1.6. Would look really fucking ugly. But short term, yeah, it's showing some downside. And I'd call a reversal on this one back above your last 4-hour range highs at 277. Until then, short term down, very likely retest around this region. You just want to not see it break below that region. That would be problematic. Daniel Garcia says Gala USD daily and weekly. Sure. Gala US derp. Okay, there we go. Binance. Hey, there we go. The LARP lines worked out right there now, didn't they? Anyways, you're looking at it daily and weekly, so not a 4 hours. So let's get off this time frame. Maybe we even redo these charts for this. Okay, if you're looking at a daily, where are the relevant regions? You need to see a daily closure above this high right here, which is 64 cents essentially. A little bit below there, but fair enough. Close enough is close enough in this case. Range lows on the daily, 46 and a quarter. Problems below there, obviously. Short term it's more of a consolidation than anything, with short term downside probably implied if I had to guess. Yeah, 4 hour probably comes down and officially tests like 53, I'd imagine, but you're probably not concerned with that. Weekly, a backfill on last weekly open is certainly not problematic at like 50 cents. I don't really have a call to make on this one on the weekly. Again, a little bit too new for a weekly analysis, but maybe a daily and 2-day could get it. I mean, both of these are fine. I just think it's going to be trading sideways for a while, so I wouldn't get too excited about it as long as you're below about 63.5 to 64 cents. But oscillating within this region right here is going to be long-term good. It's just, I think this could take a little bit more time. You're probably going to see volatility cool off more. You're seeing it just get around 50 percentile. I want to see that come down to like 25 percentile. So I'm inclined to say that you probably felt this range a lot more. Problems obviously below about 46 and glory above about 63.5. Until then, looking at sideways, I think. Peter says, thanks. Hey man, no problem. AXC. Axia. Okay, this is a completely new one for me. I have never heard of this one. Axia on KuCoin, and it apparently has I wouldn't say a decent amount of history, but at least it has like a few months, so that's better than most. For our daily, daily just looks like a continuation of trend right here. Not really. I'm imagining that this thing probably doesn't trade too much. Well, it trades more than what I would have thought. 4 hour is continuation here, I guess. I have no reason to be bearish on a chart that just goes up and to the right. It'd be rather silly to do that. So in this case, I'd just mark off your last major area, which is 335. Below 335, I'd look for short-term reversals back down maybe to like $3.10 to $3 even. Until then, I'm looking for continuation of trend, man. There's no real targets on something like this to give because I don't really see any like major structural bases. Maybe this right here, but this is not going to be well tested. Yeah, I would not trust this right here. But if it were trustworthy, I'd say your next continuation move somewhere around about 380 to like 390 or so, and then probably pulls back from there. But I don't really have a strong opinion on that. I'm just bullish as long as you're above about 335. Cool. All right, so we got that. We are 1 hour and 30 minutes into this video, and we're actually we're actually fine. I don't really see that there's too many chats today, so. Yeah, so we could keep the chats open for a while longer. Yeah, there's no problem right now, actually. Rebel Dia says, hello, good morning to you, man. LOL, near USD on the 12-hour deal. I think we did this one very early, and this one was one of the better ones, if memory serves me properly. Let's just briefly go back to it. 12-hour right here. Short-term down, long-term. Yeah, short-term down, long-term, I like it as long as you're above about $9 on a daily. Below $9, this one does start to come into some problematic areas. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be looking at $8 as a major low, but you're probably going to get a bounce at $8 if you do fail $9. However, that bounce, I have a feeling it's going to be one of these. It's going to be like, blip, blip. It's going to be nasty like that if that were to happen. So $9 is kind of critical in my opinion. Cool. Valentin Dugen says, if you haven't seen the Fresh Prez from DC from Kyle Dunnigan. Oh no, I haven't seen it. Okay, so he has one with Biden as well. Oh, that's gonna be great. He's such a fucking comedic genius, man. So good, so good. Thank you for bringing that up, man. I actually really do enjoy those, and he's actually I highly respect him. I just haven't checked him out in a while. Aurora Ware says CLV Polka Parachain possible in 3. I don't know what the hell that means. CLV. Okay. I'm guessing it's not the actual stock. It's probably this thingy. Yeah, it is this thingy. Well, I don't know what parachains are, but you're going to need a fucking parachute for this piece of shit. This is what it looks like. Maybe there's more history that's a little bit better somewhere. Nah, not really. Do you have a major low right here? Perhaps yes, but let's go to the 4 hour first. All right, so I would actually treat this as a major low, but man, here's the problem. If you do start to fail below 84 cents, I think it's going to be one of those buy the rumor, sell the news, or buy the lead up, sell the event, whatever parachain, Polka parachain means. I don't know, but I would treat this as a major low until proven otherwise, but proven otherwise would be below 84 cents on even a 4 hour closure. Until then, dailies. Okay, I guess. You are going to have some hidden bearish divergence if you top out right here, which is really fucking nasty. 12 hour, you already are populating it, so that's not super confidence inducing. I'm inclined to say that this was a corrective move, and I remain very skeptical about it as long as you're below about $1. Dollar's going to be a big area on a daily right there. Anyways, you didn't really have a question with that to begin with. It seems like it was just kind of a statement, so fair enough. Kyle McDonald's, good morning, man. Could you look at USD BTC? Do you mean... Okay, so you want to look at the inverted chart is another way of saying that. We could do that. So we can just do that. Hey, what the bastard? You fucking bastard. All right, that's not what I wanted to do. How did I do that? Control I. Hey, is it Alt I? Yeah, it's Alt I. All right. Okay, so you want to look at the inverted chart. Let's see. And you're looking at a daily and weekly. Would also like to hear your thoughts on potential market crash, depression due to worldwide COVID, madness, job loss. I think talk like that is already over, because if you're looking for a market crash or depression because of the flu, well, that would have happened about a year ago, or more than a year ago now, in March 2020. We already have vaccines, we already have like protocols, and it seems like things are getting more and more under control. So I don't think that that's relevant. You're basically asking me to speculate on shit that's like an unknown. I don't know. I mean, is there going to be another world war between like America and China? I don't know, maybe, or Russia and Ukraine. I don't know, maybe. But I mean, obviously, if that happened, it's going to rattle the markets. But I'm not qualified to speak on that. I'm not like a CIA, so I don't know. I can tell you what the results would likely be. It's not going to be fucking good, obviously. But at the same time, I still wouldn't like. I feel like you're asking me to speculate on events that have not happened, so I can't do that, or I just don't think that that's useful or reasonable. The whole thing with technical analysis and trading is that you need to have a tangible sort of action points for, essentially setting up a trade, and that's just not that. That's more like, get on a fucking talk show and talk bullshit about stuff that we don't actually really know about, just to kind of get views, which which is fair enough, but I don't know. I don't really feel inclined to do that. Anyways, if I'm looking at the inverted chart on a weekly, what does it look like? It looks like one massive descending triangle forming right here, which is basically the opposite of what we see on the regular chart, which is an ascending triangle. But that, when you look at it from this angle, it could very easily retest around your 55, which is about $43,000. So I do think that's still a threatening move for Bitcoin if it breaks below about 47 or 46,500. That's kind of where I'm looking for. I had to clear my notifications right there. Other than that, I don't really think that there's too much value in looking at this chart in comparison to the other ones. If I'm looking at this one short term on a daily, it looks like it's a little more poised to retest at around 52,000 first before anything else, but just personal opinion. We do not have... Okay, I need to look at this regularly. It's getting annoying. We don't have potential regular bullish divergence present right there just yet. What about on CME? Do we have it here? Yeah, we would have it here if we confirm a local low. So fair enough. But the way to confirm a local low here is still the same, $52,000, big one. Cool. Lance Daniel says opinion on SHIB chart and new developments. New developments in SHIB. What the fuck are you talking about, man? SHIB new developments, sir. I think it's a scam coin. New developments. It appears that we have, I don't know, what are they purporting to do? Probably not much. New developments. Well, it seems to still be going down. Seems to still be a shitcoin of a chart, man. Pretty ugly. Pretty fucking ugly here. Pretty fucking ugly there. Should we troll the SHIB coin hodlers with a nice video? Massive warning to all the SHIB coin hodlers in the market right now. The SHIB coin price seems to be dumping. Probably going to retest around the lows at like 32 to 3,300 or so. Heavily bearish long term as long as you're below 4,800. Just an absolute dog shit piece of a chart. And I use that as a direct pun right there. Look, shit like this really has no business being traded, to be honest with you. This is an embarrassment to markets, shit like this. And again, that's a personal opinion, obviously. And maybe I'm coming at this from, you know, a weird angle. And I understand that there is a meme economy nowadays, but just garbage, man, is what this is. Just garbage is what this is. So, you know, if I'm just looking at this chart, I'm probably looking for this one to break back down towards like 3,000 or so. Below 2,900, this thing is going to get absolutely fucking melted. But for right now, you know, can you get super bearish on this thing? Well, it's not that you can get super bearish on this thing. It's obviously a downtrend, but I just wouldn't get bullish on it as long as it's below about, what was it, 4,800 or so, or 4,750. Just nothing resembling a reversal right there. And for right now, we do still have closing lower lows. Do we even have bullish divergence present? No, we do not. So that's not helpful. Short-term time frames like a 4-hour are just another lower high, hidden bearish divergence right there, probably popping back down to 3,350 or 3,400 short-term even. I wouldn't even call a short-term reversal on this one as long as you're, god damn it, as long as you're below this thing right here. Oh, I guess I already have it in there at 3,850 or so. What are you laughing about, sir? What are you laughing about?
Automotive Upload says SIBA is going to destroy Bitcoin.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, do you promise? Because I'm going all in, baby, and I'm spending it right now. Are you going to fit the bill? Shiba has made tons of millionaires, including me. Hey, man, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. If you've realized that money, that's amazing. That's amazing. But we're talking about charts here, not your emotional attachment to this inanimate object that does not give a fuck about you, actually. This is garbage. Absolute fucking garbage. So yeah, man, you know, you can make money on shitcoins. Absolutely. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying you can't. But as far as charts go, look, above 3,850, you got a short-term reversal, probably trades back up towards 4,500 or so. Above 5,200, or what was this area right here? Above, what was this, like 5,200? I guess you got an actual reversal right there. But until that happens, man, very weak on its own. Very weak on its own. Very, very ugly chart. So I don't really have anything to add on to it other than that. The monthly is, in my opinion, clearly a major reversal. The weekly or the bi-weekly, you know, you're going to see your bounces, man. And you're probably going to leave some nasty comments on my videos. You'll probably be like, fuck you, man. This thing just bounced up to 4,100. It's like, yeah, okay. We spoke about the low term timeframes. Can happen. Absolutely. Heavily bearish, long term, heavily fucking bearish, as long as you're below 4,750 on a daily closing basis. Until that area is regained, this is, you know, going to do what most meme coins do, which is nothing. How do we know that SHIB hasn't achieved consciousness? The tech is scary good, is it? The technology to steal your money and turn it into SHIB coins that can be used for, I forgot. Look, SHIB is a great coin that holds no real value. I mean, most of them hold no real value, to be fair, but this thing is just this. Look, man. Look, if you made money on it, that's amazing. That's great. That's really, really great. You can definitely make money on shitcoins. 100%. It can definitely be done. But understand that this, as far as the chart goes, which is what you're asking in the context of a video like this, you're not asking about fundamentals. I don't care about fundamentals. And this one would not have great fundamentals to begin with. I don't really, you know, I don't really have any reason to believe that this thing's bullish as long as you're below, especially 4,750. Even short term, you know, short term major areas above about 30. I don't know, 3,800, and then yeah, you might see a short-term rally back up to like the mid 4,000s. But until then, very, very ugly. And you know, if Bitcoin bounces, this thing's going to bounce alongside of it. But if I look at the 5-day, if I look at the weekly, I'm looking more towards around 3,000 first. We all love SHIB and dog. Well, man, you came to the wrong fucking place. I'll tell you that. This is not meme coin central. This is about charting. Anyways, let's see. Nate, or no, sorry, I skipped. Holy shit, I skipped a few people. Apologies about that. And again, I'm just talking about charts right here. I'm not trying to be disrespectful towards you as a person at all. You as a person are completely separate than this as a chart. So please understand that regardless of emotional attachment to, you know, things like this, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about this as a chart. He might be trolling. Yeah, maybe I'm just wasting my time. Noah says daily rose about to retest 35% and retreat, thinking due to BBWP not being erect. I think we already covered this one earlier today, but we can go back to it. Yeah, I mean, short-term pullback is fine. Short-term pullback is completely fine, but I do think that this one is actually on a reversal right here as long as you're above about 28 cents. So that is kind of an invalidation on short-term. Same thing as before. I mean, you just hit your last medium-term time frame range highs, basically. So pulling back from there is completely fine. Yeah, I pretty much agree with you. But ultimately, I do think that this one will pull through. So I don't think it's going to, I mean, coming down to like 29 cents, okay. Just don't want to see it below about 28 to 28 and a half. Hidden bullish evidence right there. Daily volatility is actually expanding. So no, I disagree with you. In fact, it is erect. It's incredibly erect right there. So I just want to see it close above this range high over here. Maybe happen sometime this week, and then I'd be looking for a retest of your prior closing highs. Cool. Rebel Dia says Sand USD. Yeah, we can do that one. Sand USD. Oops, I recorded that whole little bit right there too. My apologies. Done goofed on that one. All right, should we? All right, you're looking at a weekly. Okay, weekly on this one. Short-term corrective still. Short-term, very likely coming back down to your lows at around just below $5, somewhere around $4.95 or $5 even. I'd only get super bearish on this one below about $4.75. That is your big problematic area right here. Below there, I do look for new lows on this current dump bull, somewhere back down around your 4th of December lows, where I'd be looking for if that area is closed below on a 4-hour. Now, you did ask about a weekly, obviously, and that would actually be your weekly range, essentially. So you do see some relevance there. I'd be looking for bounces off that region, but short-term is down, yes. Weekly, I don't think that you're going to be trending to the upside anytime soon. This one is corrective for the moment. BBWP coming off extremes like this, very likely to spend its time trading sideways at best for a while. And that means there's going to be some short-term moves to the upside as well within that, but I wouldn't get excited about this thing as long as you're below about 685. And it sounds like you're more interested on the, on the long term. So 685 is where I'd be looking towards. Are we filling into the wick to the downside? I would just be looking for a retest of the low side of the range first. And then if you close below there, then yes, I'd extend that move significantly towards the prior wick lows. Cool. Nate Green says CRA versus, okay, wrapped AVAX. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one. On Pangolin. Not good. Not fucking good, man. On Trader Joe, is there an end in the site, or is this just a race to the bottom? I'm guessing this is like a reward token or something because it only gets sold. We can go to Trader Joe. It's the same chart right here, to be fair. Am I seeing any bottoming behavior just yet? Not really. I wouldn't look. It's not wise to be the first person to call a reversal until you actually get a fucking reversal. And there's no talks about a reversal on this thing. And you got it. And I'd be very conservative on something like this, but. No talks of a major reversal on this thing, especially as long as you're below 0.0075, essentially, which is quite far away right now. I mean, you need a 41% rally just to test that region. Look, at some point, you're going to get a nice bounce out of this probably, but for right now, the daily's showing continuation for what it's worth. Technically speaking, you should be getting some pity bounces around your last major lows. In this case, you're pretty much there. I'm talking about these areas over here from November. You're very, very close to that, so you probably get a pity bounce relatively soon, but that does not mean that this one's going to reverse on the macro scale. It just means that it probably gets another bounce, and, well, any bounce that fails to get back above here is just another lower high, and continuation of trend is probably the more likely thing, but, a very weak altcoin. Just look, as long as Bitcoin's not like fucking gung-ho bullish, I don't think things like this are going to be rallying on their own, basically. Lauren Gontano says, show me your soul dildos, please. Hey, what? Oh, it's a lady. All right. Everyone act cool. Soul, this is Phantasma on KuCoin. Actually, and this would be a completely different chart than most altcoins that we've seen today. Much better, much better. Dildos on this one, we got some girthy green dildos, actually. Miss or Mrs. Lauren. It's actually not bad. I was expecting some not so great, but it is corrective here on the daily, but I do actually like this one long term as long as you're basically playing between about 195 190 lows and your high side of the range at about $3. I don't think you're going to be doing anything like super interesting in the short term right here. You might have one more test of $3, but I don't think that you're going to be ready to actually bust on through it. Short term time frames like a 4-hour, a little bit of a short term reversal, so probably does test somewhere around about $3 or so, but Long term, I'd get very excited about this thing for a continuation of long-term trend above about $3. And yes, this one actually has one of the better charts that we've seen today, no doubt about that. And I'd only get bearish on this thing below basically your last closing low, which is like 190 to 192 or so. Other than that, sideways is the name of the game here, but that is good for the Boolaws, and above $3 is great for the Boolaws. Adil M says DeFi Perp Daily Weekly, is the lower low a cause for concern for the broader crypto market? Okay. Oh, this represents the DeFi sector. This should actually be quite interesting to look at. Okay, so you do have a lower low right there. You do not have bullish evidence. That's usually not a great sign. So you're probably going to retest the lows at minimum, which you're seeing right now on the 4 hour. I'd only get super bearish on this one, similar to all the other charts we've seen today. And this is just another variation of it, is with a 4 hour closure below about 88.19. That would be a full on meltdown to new lows in this case, probably looking at a move towards 7,800, or I don't know if I'm comfortable calling a move that big. 8,200 or so, I think would be about right. But short term, very likely test around this region. The hoping, similar to Bitcoin, is that you test the region and then reverse back above basically yesterday's high, which is 96.50. Above there, you do have a bit of a short term bottom. Until then, long term, I'm just curious. Look, you're more likely to get a bounce off this region, so I'm very hesitant to call like a breakdown below this region just yet. I just think that you test it, which is okay. Icebox says, hey Krown, just a quick question. When managing risk, are you always using a static stop loss? No, sometimes, no, actually not at all. So a static stop loss, in the way that I think of it, is like a market stop. So I always will have a market stop as like a fail safe in a highly volatile, nasty, violent price action situation. But I also have what I refer to as like an ideal stop, which is managed based off of closures, typically speaking, or maybe a combination of indicator signals. So yes, so actually, technically speaking, I do always have a stop loss, but it's two pronged. And my static stop loss, the market stop, essentially, as Bitcoin comes down now, playing another move, is the one that is like, okay, if this happens, something terribly wrong has happened. I don't want to wait for a closure. I don't want to wait for the signal. I just see that and I'm out. Get the fuck out, essentially. So yeah, absolutely. Needs to happen, because what happens with one of those situations where Bitcoin gets one of these, right? Bitcoin could easily get one of these. Well, you don't want to be waiting around for that. That's why you have those kind of fail safes, as you don't want that to wipe you out, of course. Bruno Andrade says, or Andrade, I think. Hopefully I'm saying that properly. Do you think the Bitcoin dominance is doing a triple bottom, and do you think we can come close to 34,000 on CME? Okay, two questions right there. So let me nail this down. Okay, so 34,000, the reason why you're probably calling that one out is because that's your last major gap coming in from July. Do I think it's possible? Yeah, of course, it's definitely possible, but it's not my first target as long as Bitcoin's above our last weekly higher low at about $43,000 or $42,000 on a weekly closing basis. Below there, yeah, I actually do start to look at that as a reasonable area to be looking for, somewhere around mid 30,000s or so. Bitcoin dominance, I'm really starting to not care at all about that chart, just because it's a very poor metric with all the shitcoins that we have now in this market. So the problem with that is that you can technically, you could technically see Bitcoin stay basically steady, but if people just add more and more shitcoins into this market, which is very easy to do, then the Bitcoin dominance levels will come down, but it's not really representative of what it once was in the past. And even in the past, it was kind of, not great as well. So I'm a lot more inclined to say that it might be doing a triple bottom, but I don't think it's very helpful to be doing analysis on it. And also my analysis on it has just been wrong as well for like the last month. So I don't really have any major calls on that one to do. I think it's time for me to kind of not even check that chart, because I don't think it's that relevant, especially when we have different sectors now too. We have different sectors within this market, which make it a little more easy to kind of figure out, what like a more relevant thing is doing. And that, I think, is probably what you're actually looking for in that aspect, because you can't really like just look at all altcoins as the same. You have like your meme coins, like your SHIB, your dogs, your all of those thingies. You have your DeFis, you have your layer ones, you have your layer twos, all that stuff. So I think you really have to kind of sift through the market now, and at some point we'll have indices that represent all these subsectors, and at some point it'll come to fruition, just not now, I guess. Mamit says dog USD stuck in a long trade at 25 cent. Your entry, your liquidation is 12 cent. Okay, so this is not trading, sir. This is hoping and praying. And I don't want to speak downwards towards you or make you feel bad, especially when you're already in this position, which you can't. I mean, you can always do something about, but it's probably already emotionally trying. So I don't want to like add on to that turmoil, but I do want to speak a little bit towards this. What? Close the super chats now, so all good. Cool. All right, so let's see. Anyways, should you basically your question is, I don't really know what your question is, but basically you bought a shitcoin at 25 cents. So why did you buy it over here at 25 cents? I guess it kind of made sense over here as it was still kind of in a short-term daily uptrend, but you have to have a stop loss, man. You have to have a fucking stop loss. It doesn't make sense to just hold on to your liquidation price. There's absolutely zero relevancy of 12 cents on this chart. You can easily come back down to, I mean, if you come down to 12 cents, you're going to come down even further than that, to be fair. So short term, is this one coming down more? Yeah, it's a fucking dog shit chart, man. It's a terrible chart. Very likely coming back down towards, all right, just give me a second here. I'll pin that right now. Very likely coming back down to your range lows, whether that be like 16 cents or 15.80 cents, doesn't really matter. I'll tell you where you get into like big problems where you probably do get wiped out of that position. That's going to be below about 15.80 on a 4-hour closure. Until then, the hopium is that you come down here and you do something like this. And this is fucking hopium, man. You do something like this, you pop back above that high, and then you get a bit of a reversal. Now, here's the thing. You're still in that fucking 25 cent trade, which makes absolutely zero sense to me, to be quite honest with you. And I think at best, this thing does to the upside, maybe 21 cents, 22 cents at best. This is just a dog shit chart, man. Just god awful. Same thing as SHIB, man. All of these bounces get weaker and weaker and weaker. That's a terrible, terrible sign. Terrible sign long term. Now, am I inclined to say that you're probably going to bounce off this level yet again? Probably yes. You probably are. You're probably going to bounce up maybe over the next few weeks somewhere around about 20 to 21 cents or maybe even 22 cents. But man, if you're gonna be a trader, you have to fucking trade, and to be a trader means that you need to have something resembling a reasonable risk management. And in this case, your risk management should have been, if you were trading the trend here, which actually did make sense on your 25 cent entry, I could actually see that on the loss of the higher low at 23.87 could have been out, and you could have repositioned again if you really wanted to own this highly esteemed piece of technology, I guess. So if you're asking my opinion, I mean, I think you kind of got it already. I don't want to add insult to injury here. You're probably more likely to bounce off this level. I don't think your stops or your liquidation price is going to get hit just yet, but man, like that's no way to trade long term. You will get wiped out long term. Zero doubts in my mind about that if you do not adjust your strategies. And I say that from my own experience because that's how I've gone broke in the past, and it's really not fucking fun. So if I can save someone from potentially doing that, then hopefully that will be helpful. But yeah, short term, very likely retest the lows. Somewhere around like 16 cents probably gives another bounce up there. If you lose like 15.5 to 15.80 cents, then you're probably going to see somewhere around your liquidation price if I had to guess. But yeah, man, hopefully that was helpful. Speaknees says, so great. Hey, all good, man. All good. Could you do a weekly on CRO? Sure. And thank you for that, man. Very, very kind of you. All right, cool. I guess we go to Bittrex for this one. And you want to look at a weekly? Again, corrective at best here for a while. You got a bit of a weekly range between about 50 cents and 75 cents, just kind of eyeballing it right there. Short term, do you retest the bottom side of your range as is most of this market? I imagine you got the same sort of hidden bearish divergence. Yes, you do. Could easily come back down to 55 cents, maybe even 50 cents even, but I'm a lot more hesitant to be bearish on something like this, if not just for a bit of a correction here. I'll tell you where problems do start to arise. Again, below 50 cents. On a 4-hour closure, not this area right here, but this area pretty much right around there. It's more like 51 cents actually. At that point, I'd be looking for, I guess, a move down to 42, maybe even 40 cent base. Until then, sideways within this region right here is fine. Short term, do you test the downside of it? Probably yes, probably bounce off of it as well. Wouldn't get excited about this one long term as long as you're below about basically 75 cents or so. But one of the better charts long term, just corrective right now. You hit extremes over here. You went on a phenomenal rally. So going sideways for a while is like the name of the game. Wouldn't be surprised if this takes like another month or a while. Long term, quite bullish. Very, very good long term. Just corrective for right now, which is what you expect after going to the moon, basically. And here's the real chart, by the way. Like, it's reasonable to think that this one's going to correct, right? It basically went on an unabated run for, just a few weeks for like 600%, man. Pretty impressive right there. So a bit of sideways here is good for the soul. Big problems below again. It was like 50 cents on a daily. Cool. Let's see. BB Guard says new coin. Okay. Gods. I think we've seen this one before. Oh, wait, hold on. That's God. Let's try gods. Here we go. We got it. On KuCoin, I guess. Gods Unchanged. I think we looked at this one before, actually. It was actually quite good. I think we even played out our moves there, too. No, maybe we haven't looked at this one, because I would have had a chart for it. I only got this right here. Anyways, I am looking for this one to try for a bit of a higher low, somewhere around about 580 or so. I'd actually be, I think this one's okay, to be fair. It's just very, very new. Not much history, as you stated. I wouldn't get excited about it as long as you're below about 775. I wouldn't get like deathly about it as long as you're above about 563.5. Below 563.5, that's where this one does start to lose formation and very likely comes back down to 490 and probably initiates a more long-term downtrend. But for right now, it's okay. Short-term, a little bit of downside angle right here. Probably test around this region. Just don't want to see it break below that region again, about 563.5 on a 4-hour closure in that case. Below there, things do change around. But really, a very, very new chart, so not much to make out of it, to be fair. Dr. Boss says, Litecoin, please. Oh, man, you just did it now. I got like a 5-page long message about a comment I made about Litecoin like a week or two ago. I called Litecoin a shitcoin, just as like I call everything a shitcoin. I mean, it's just a term of endearment, that's all. Someone sent me like a 5-page message about it saying like, you have a high responsibility as an influencer, like, influencer, Jesus Christ, gross. You have a responsibility to call Litecoin what it is, which is not a shitcoin. If it was a shitcoin, why did PayPal list it? It's like, okay, well, PayPal also listed Bcash. So I don't think they're a great authority on the legitimacy of this. And this is the chart of a shitcoin, actually. This is quite a shitty chart. This is a very weak chart. It's a very weak chart. Long term, it's not going to move on its own. It's going to require a very strong Bitcoin in order to move on its own. Short term, you got the same sort of setup right here. Hidden bearish divergence, probably coming back down to the bottom side of the range, like 150 or so. Again, same thing as Bitcoin as well, though. I wouldn't get super bearish on this one until you actually break below 146 on a 4-hour closure. Below there, yeah, you got some big bad problems. Probably looking for extension back down to your wick lows on December 4th minimum. Somewhere around about $1.20 or so. Now, if you do see a quick move down here and then it pops back above your last rejective high, about 163, 164, I'd look for a short-term move to the upside, probably somewhere around about $1.70 to $1.75 or so. Long-term, just atrocious as long as you're below about 190. I think that's kind of the best it does to the upside and on any sort of impulsive move short-term. Long-term, if you're on a weekly, I mean, it's not even worth talking about because it's so far away for this one to even get excited about, but it'd be like 230. So I am probably looking for a bounce off this region, man. I don't think it's going to like completely fail this region. Again, it's going to depend on whatever Bitcoin does more or less, but very weak on its own, mostly irrelevant in my opinion, but hey, my opinion is just my opinion, man. And again, I'm just talking about charts here, not about anyone in particular. And you know what? It is amazing. It is an amazing coin. It was actually the first one that I got introduced to. So, but again, man, I just don't understand why people get like so in love with these coins. They don't love you back. I mean, surely you have noticed that this chart does not love you back when it goes all the way from 305 to 140 in just a few weeks. I don't think that's love, man. I don't think that's love. Sakai McCall says, sir, could you please check Kilt great fundamentals? Oh, great fundamentals, you say? Great fundamentals. I love some great fundamentals. Oh, fuck! My fundamentals! Where have my fundamentals gone? They got shoved into the trash. I'm fundamentally down 69%, a great number, but what do I do now? I'm fundamentally broke. It's fundamentally a piece of shit chart as long as you're below 720. Great fundamentals. The problem with fundamentals is that they do not represent price a lot of the time. I just remember seeing this so many times in 2018. Oh my God, man. Maybe this is a signal that this really is 2018. Oh, my Cardano's have great fundamentals. Down fucking 50%. It's the same thing as all the other charts, basically. Very likely to retest around your lows, around 467. Fundamentally short-term bad from a charting perspective. Fundamentally shitty as fuck as long as you're below about 720 or 719. Above 719, it's really not much a long-term chart to be going off of. And look, man, if you truly believe in the fundamentals and you truly love the project, understand that I'm just making a joke right now. Hopefully not too much at your expense, and perhaps it does have great fundamentals, at which point you should trust your own fundamental analysis, but understand when I'm looking at charts here, that's a different thing. And this thing doesn't really have much of a chart. It's only been around for less than a month, just a couple weeks actually. And for what it's worth, the couple weeks that it's been around are pretty bad, but it hasn't really been born into the greatest market environment ever. Above 720, I would look for a reversal, but there's not really anything for me to do other than that. So if you truly believe in the project, hey man, trust yourself over what I'm saying right now. But as far as charts go, it looks like fundamentally no one cares to support this thing, unfortunately, for the time being. That can obviously change, and yeah, fair enough. Below 467 on a 4-hour closure, that's where I'd look for this one to fundamentally drop the fucking lows out and trade back down to mid to low $3. But till then, all good. What's up, Lawrence S? All right, last one for Lawrence, and he's asking about AVAX. And how does no one ask about AVAX anymore? Well, I guess it's not really doing too much of interest. Oh, my LARP lines! No, my LARP lines. Well, we did retest the lows right there, to be fair. So get rid of that. That's why you don't trust the damn LARP lines. But short-term, 4-hour, looking for some hidden bearish evidence to be confirmed on the next closure in 2 minutes and 46 seconds. Very likely another retest of your, somewhere around your current lows, low $80 or so. Breaking below 79 and a quarter on a 4-hour closure would be very problematic and very likely imply moves back down towards 72 and a half to 70 even. Until then, I kind of have the same idea as Bitcoin. You probably see something like this, and then if you pop back above this high right here, that's where I'd be looking for at minimum to retest about 96 and a half. Above 96 and a half, even on a 4-hour closure, I would look for this one to go on quite a run towards about 110, 115-ish region. Until then, hanging onto the lows. Again, it's got the same setup as Bitcoin basically, and that's really all. That's pretty much the majority of these analyses today, except for like a few one-offs here and there of strong altcoins. Except for those, basically everything's pretty much doing what Bitcoin is doing in varying degrees of weakness or strength. But right now, Bitcoin, we don't see the same sort of setup on CME as we do on spot. Actually, we do. CME is not closing its next 4-hour until 3 hours. So maybe we should look at a 3-hour and see if this one has the same thing. No, it doesn't actually. So I guess CME is actually kind of showing a slightly different picture right here. But ultimately, the name of the game is the same. Like short term, if I had to call, I think that we come back down to the bottom side of the range. The question is, does Bitcoin put in like something resembling a higher low anywhere above about $47,000 and then pop back above your $50,000 and $300 high right there? If it does, that looks pretty damn good. At minimum, testing about $52,000, very likely a short-term pullback there, and then we'd come back to it after that. Above 54, if that were to happen, which I'd probably make a shorts video on if we got a move like that, then I would be looking for, well, it would be a lot more significant, and I'd actually be quite bullish off that for like the higher term time frame picture. Until then, I think we're still looking at a corrected market for a while. If Bitcoin does break below about 46,500 on spot price action or $47,000 on CME, I would be looking for another move somewhere down around maybe even as low as $43,000, but probably more like $44,000 to $45,000 if I had to guess, somewhere down around here. In this region. Until then, it's still a range bound market right now for the short term. I think that we're a lot closer to a major bounce than not. And if I did have to kind of summarize everything that I'm looking at right now into just one very simple chart, it's this one right here on the daily for CME. If you see the daily stochastic momentum turn to the upside with any sort of closure today above 48,644, which we have another 14 hours, 10 minutes, and 15 seconds left to go. So a lot can happen between now and then, but right now we're literally trading right at that level. If you do see that condition confirmed by end of day on CME, I would be looking at this one as very likely to put in a nice bounce, probably somewhere at minimum around 52, probably more like 54 to 55, and then we'll come back to it after that, and that's going to start to look a lot better for the higher term time frame picture. Anyways, I'm going to be signing off now. I want to wish you a happy and healthy rest of your day. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Really fun times. We even got some doggy. Oh my God, it's a flying dog in the background. That's insane. And I'm going to be signing off now. Wait, what's going on? What's going on over there? What's going on over there? And should we have a new outro song? Should we have a new outro song? I think it's time for today. We're gonna do a new outro song. All right. I I will leave you with this, my friends. Have a good day and be safe.
Oh, he's rolling over. Oh, he's rolling over. It's only just begun, my friends. It's only just begun. It's only just begun to die. Doggy will roll over and come back below 10 cents. And come back below 10 cents. It's only just begun to get wrecked. Fuck your doggy coins. Go back to the shitcoin gutter. Go back to the shitcoin gutter. It's only just begun to die.